We now get to move on to the part of algebra that is, well, feels a lot more like algebra. In this section, we are going to look at how to simplify expressions using the properties that we have learned so far and try to figure out how to eventually solve for maybe even an equation. So let's go ahead and take a look at some of these together. The very first example that we have is I want you to simplify the following expression: 9c plus 4c minus 5 plus 4 times 2. Now, we did something like this in a couple of sections ago. What we want to do is we want to combine all the terms that are alike, so then that way it's one simple, term by itself. So for example, what I mean is if you look at 9c plus 4c, those are like terms. That's like saying 9 candies plus 4 candies. And if you have a total, that would be a total of 13 candies. So for this one, we can say that that's a total of 13c. So note how it's now compact, and I like that a lot more. As for the second part right here, -5 plus 4 times 2, if you remember the order of operation, because we're going to need that in order to simplify this as well. First, I'll go ahead and take it one step at a time. Let's just go ahead and write each one out so you can see what's happening. I'm just going to go ahead and rewrite the first part, right? Just simplifying the first two. Now, from that second step to the third step, what I'll do is I'll go ahead and use the order of operation, which says I need to multiply 4 and a 2 together because, well, multiplying comes before subtracting. So with that being said, I'm now going to have 13c, and then we have minus 5, and then we have plus 8. And looking at the -5 and the 8, or -5 plus 8, we can combine that together to get a total of 3. So my final answer will be 13c, and then we have plus 3 then. And that's going to be our simplified expression in this case. For each one of these, that's basically what we're supposed to do. We're going to go ahead and clean it up as much as we can, combine all the like terms, trimming. That's, kind of like trimming a lawn, basically, right? All right, let's move on to the next one. We have now 6 times in parentheses a plus 2b, and then we have minus 3a plus 4b. So just like before, what I'll do is I'll just go ahead and pick on one part, and more specifically the front part, because I see the distributive property over there. That's exponent. Oh, sorry, not exponent, but also parentheses. So multiply that out using the distributive property. 6 times a, that gives me 6a. And then plus 6 times 2b, so that's a total of 12b, minus 3a, and then plus 4b. So if you feel like you can do more in one step, go ahead and do so, and I definitely recommend it in the near future. But for right now, if you want to take it step by step just so you can see how to combine stuff, I would totally be okay too. Next part, we're going to combine like terms just like we did in the first problem. So 6a minus 3a, and I think you probably see it too, 12b and then plus 4b. So if we combine your like terms, we have 6 apples minus 3 apples. That's a total of 3 apples. And then finally, plus 12 berries plus 4 berries, then that's going to give you a total of 16 berries. B for berry and then A for apple, because I'm just not good with examples right now. So there it is. That's our simplified answer. Next one, same idea. We're going to go ahead and combine your like terms. I'll usually try to underline them so then that way you can see what are the like terms over here. So the terms with the square roots, 4 root a minus 7 root a. And you can probably maybe just kind of put them all out together right now, right? Whatever I underline right there, you could probably just combine together. If I have 4 of something minus 7 of something, then that's kind of like saying 4 minus 7. So that's a total of -3 root a. So, just take it all at once if you can. Next part, certain terms that I do see that I want to combine together, maybe like say the 1 and a 2. 1 plus 2, that's going to give me a total of 3. So there's a plus 3 right there. And then finally, for the last one, now this one's a little bit harder because we have to subtract fractions. 1/2 x squared minus 1/3 x squared. If it helps, maybe we can go ahead and take those fractions and write it in a common denominator so we can see how to actually add and subtract them. So the first one, it's okay writing extra steps if you need to. I'm going to write that 1/2 as 3/6 x squared. And then minus the 1/3, I'm going to write that as 2/6 x squared. So then that way you can see that I changed each one. So then that way I can add the fractions together, or subtract the fractions in this case. So 3/6 of something minus 2/6 of something, that's a total of 1/3 of something. 1/6 of something, and that's going to be part of our final answer. So -3 times the square root of a plus 3, and then we have plus a total of 1/6 of x squared. And we'll go ahead and leave that as an answer. And the order doesn't really matter. If you want to do the x squared first, the root first, or the 3 first, by all means, whatever works best for you. Okay, let's go ahead and clean this up. By any means, also, if you want to try this on your own and then stop the video and pause and then come back to it, totally fine, right? I want you to, get comfortable with this. Okay, so 3/4 r, we're going to go ahead and rewrite that part, plus the middle part, I see this as a distributive property, the parentheses part. So we're going to go ahead and multiply that out. That's going to say 1/5 multiplied by 5/4 times r. And then plus 1/5 multiplied by 10, and then minus 2. So notice here, I'm just taking one step at a time just to help you see everything. The first part will still rewrite. That's 3/4r. The second part, 1/5 times 5/4. The 5s are going to cancel out to each other, so that leaves you with 1/4 r. Then plus 1/5 times 10, that is going to be a total of 2 minus the 2. And just like before, we're going to go ahead and combine our like term as much as possible. The 2 and the 2, they cancel each other out. 3/4 of something plus 1/4 of something, that is going to be 4/4 of something. Or you could just simply say 1r, or you can just go ahead and say r. I think r is probably best. All right, and here's our final example. 4 times in parentheses 5x plus 6 times in parentheses x minus 2b. Well, order of operation, that's a common theme that we've been seeing so far, so let's go ahead and do so. Working from the inside, I'm going to go ahead and take care of the inside parentheses first. That is to say, more specifically, the 6x, and then we have 6 times in parentheses x minus 2b. So I'm going to go ahead and take the time to multiply that out, rewrite everything else. 4 times in parentheses 5x, and then plus 6x minus 12b, because the 6 is multiplied to the x, and also the 6 is multiplied by the negative 2b then. And let me go ahead and make this small little adjustment, so then that way my bracket will match up with my bracket. And, well, we'll keep cleaning up. In terms of like terms, I see 5x plus 6x, so 5 xylophones, I suppose, plus 6 xylophones, that's a total of 11 xylophones, and then minus 12b, okay? And then all of this is still multiplied by 4. Well, I think we're close to the end, right? We just need to multiply the 4 out. So 4 times 11x, so that's going to give us 44x. And then we have 4 times negative 12b. That's a total of minus 48b. And I'm going to go ahead and leave that as my final answer because, well, those are two terms that cannot be combined. All right, see you next time.